Welcome everyone to National Apprenticeship Week. So this week, if you did not know, it's National Apprenticeship, trying to raise awareness of apprenticeship schemes out there and to build your future. So this is just one pathway if you've never thought about apprenticeships or actually in your future career. So today we're joined by Luke, who used to be an apprentice and actually now is a business owner. So I'd like to introduce Luke to you. And in the meantime, just so you're aware, we'll do a live Q&A at the end of the session. So please use the chat to ask any questions and we'll get them answered at the end. Over to you, Luke.
Thank you. My name's Luke Burkitt, as James said. I'm the owner and managing director of Future Homes Design and Build. I'm here today to do a presentation for National Apprenticeship Week on a mixture of my personal story and through school life into an apprenticeship and onto a further management senior career, but also to take you through the steps of my apprenticeship and the processes involved in joining an apprenticeship and actually going through the different stages of an apprenticeship. Right, so briefly, I'll just run over the contents of the presentation that I'm going to be doing today. So I'll be covering what is an apprenticeship, how I was ashamed and hid me having dyslexia throughout my school life and working career, leading from school to college, what the apprenticeship entailed, career progression and qualifications I achieved, example projects I have worked on, my personal achievement with setting up my own company, Future Homes Design and Build. People from both practical and academic backgrounds can have a great career in the construction industry. The moral of the story, some useful references and links to further information about apprenticeships and how to join them, and the processes involved in them. And as James said, at the end of the presentation, we'll do a question and answer time. So any questions that you have that you want to ask throughout the presentation or at the end of the presentation, we can run through them together at the end of the presentation. Right. So what is an apprenticeship? An apprenticeship is a system for training a new generation of practitioners, brackets, apprentices, qualifying into trained, qualified and competent persons of a trade or profession with on-the-job training, and often some accompanying study, classwork, reading and training required within college or a training centre. Apprenticeships can also enable practitioners, apprentices, qualifying into trained, qualified and competent persons to gain a licence to practice in a regulated occupation such as plumbing and electrics, as both of these trades require full training and registered qualifications to confirm their competence of legally working on these types of works for general public in line with the current construction laws and policies. Most of their training is done while working for an employer who helps the apprentices learn their trade or profession at a reduced pay rate compared to a fully qualified tradesperson, and in exchange for their continued labour for an agreed period after they have achieved the measurable competencies. This is not always the case, and sometimes it is only for the agreed apprenticeship period, which most as a minimum will be a 2-year part-time college and other days working on the job to get a MVQ level 2 and intermediate apprenticeship craft award level. But a number of trades can require a 3rd year and even more depending on the trade and the rarer trades that require a longer time to learn, and the 3rd year takes an apprentice to an MVQ level 3 and advanced craft award level, which is an equivalent of a trained and qualified advanced tradesperson, meaning that when they are ready, can take on the role of a foreman on a construction project, managing the other lower level, less qualified and competent persons of the same trade. So how I was ashamed and hid me having dyslexia throughout my school life and working career. During my school years, I was always ashamed of my dyslexia and the struggles I had with it, and only my teachers knew that I had it, and I would not ever share this information with any of my friends or anyone else because I didn't want them thinking I was stupid or for them to wind me up about having it or judging me in a negative way. I again was ashamed of letting anyone know when I progressed into the construction management roles about my dyslexia because I didn't want them thinking I wasn't capable of doing the role or responsibilities it holds, as most people would prejudge someone with dyslexia, thinking they could not be trusted with tasks that involve paperwork, forms and numbers. Which is not necessarily true, as for my case, I was always good at maths and I'd learnt techniques to be able to deal with paperwork, forms and filing, as I knew that I had a weakness in these areas, so that I became hypersensitive to checking over and over. So I knew that I wasn't making a mistake, and now to the point where it can seem like a form of OCD, and that I can proofread somebody else's work and correct their grammar and mistakes, which you wouldn't expect from someone from a dyslexic background. Even when I would go for a new job and fill out the applicant form, and it would ask if I had any forms of disabilities, I would never add that I had dyslexia for two reasons. One being that I didn't want to be prejudged before the interview and even being given the job as someone who wasn't capable of doing it and its required responsibilities. And the second reason being that I was ashamed of admitting that I had a learning difference that falls under the official category as a learning disability, as I didn't want to run the risk of missing out on some good work opportunities that would progress my career even further. So leading from school to college, my school qualifications that I managed to just scrape through the end of school with, completing my GCSEs, were C's and D's. So I didn't have the option to go to university unless I resat some of the GCSEs or carried on with further courses into college, but that would then allow me to lead on to a university qualification or degree course, sorry. So yeah, so I didn't have the required qualifications to go on to a university degree, but as I naturally didn't enjoy academics because of my mild dyslexia, I did not want to pursue that pathway anyway. My qualifications did allow me to pursue an apprenticeship, which is something I wanted to do, as it was a practical job career to follow, and I had the dream to one day build my own house, and then also to enjoy building houses for others, as you get the sense of achievement seeing a permanent structure that was built by you for yourself and others to see. So what the apprenticeship entailed. So I started a 3-year bricklaying apprenticeship with one of the largest national house builders at the time and worked for them on their sites that they moved me around. And I was working 3 to 4 days a week whilst attending college 1 to 2 days a week, depending on the college year programme. I worked through both practical and theory work classes and modules at college, while working on site the other days, learning as a bricklayer's labourer, then being allowed to jump on the areas of brickwork to learn, in line with my college, how to be a bricklayer and build to their standards of work required by them in a construction site setting. At the end of my 2 years college and working on site, I achieved an NVQ level 2 in bricklaying, which was a site-based practical qualification, and I also achieved a college-based qualification named Intermediate Construction Award. The NVQ Level 2 in brickwork is a construction industry norm for a minimum requirement to be allowed to work as a bricklayer on most larger sites. The ICA, so Intermediate Craft Award, is a college-based qualification to say that you have also met the college training standards for a standard level for that trade that combines with the NVQ qualification. To be a more respected, trained and educated person, or tradesperson, sorry, it is understood that you require the NVQ site-based qualification training, but also combined with the Intermediate Craft Award college-based qualification and training. I then progressed on to and decided to do my third year of the apprenticeship, as a number of my classmates chose to stop at the end of the second year just so they could go out on site and work towards a bigger wage quicker. But I was looking at the bigger picture and wanted to further invest in my own further education, training and learning, which was an NVQ Level 3 practical qualification and training, as well as the college training and qualification alongside that, while still doing the day release through college, would achieve the Advanced Craft Award, which was a higher level from the college, which combines with the NVQ Level 3 as a higher level of qualification that gives you the level of training and qualifications to progress onto a foreman level at some point in the future if you wanted to. I was also made aware at the end of my NVQ Level 2 that if I ever wanted to progress in the future into construction management of some kind, it would make sense to complete my NVQ Level 3, as that would then allow me to go on to the next stage of my entry requirements onto a Level 4 construction management higher national certificate at some point in the future, even if I decided to go back to college after completing a number of years on site just working as a bricklayer. So my career progression and qualifications. I then set up my own small building company when I completed my NVQ Level 3 apprenticeship and was doing extensions, conservatory bases and small private building works with roughly 5 people working for me. Unfortunately, me running my own company was short-lived and lasted around 9 months until the 2008 world recession kicked in, and I was in and out of work like many people and companies at that time. So rather than sitting around in a negative time during the recession time, I decided to use that time to do something positive and start further study, progressing on to and starting a Level 4 HNC in construction management, whilst working part-time for a large national construction company completing government contracts. I then progressed my way up the management career ladder, working for a number of the largest national main contractors, national house builders, and then companies completing high-end multi-million-pound house building projects. During my construction management career progression, I moved up from site management to project management to contracts management and then to construction director management positions. In this period of my career progression, I became addicted to education and learning so I could be the best I could be in my role, and so I could bridge my academic weaknesses. So I completed a number of qualifications and training courses and obtained professional chartership membership titles with 4 of the main industry leading professional chartered associations, as well as currently nearly completing a Level 8 diploma in global strategic direction and leadership, which is an equivalent to a doctorate level with me needing only to complete the thesis top up to my level 8 qualification, and then I will earn the full title of a doctorate level in my professional, so being Dr. Luke Burkett one day soon, I hope, which would be great. Here's an example of some of, not all of, but some of the main higher level qualifications and professional chartered association memberships I hold. I have 4 of them, as I said, and if you look to the left and see the NVQ level 2 and 3 in brickwork and work your way up, it actually shows the career progression from an apprenticeship level and a bricklayer, then moving into site management and construction management, and then moving up into senior management roles and qualifications that suit it. Right, so some examples of some of the projects that I've been on. These are some of the high-end bespoke, like mansion refurbs and new build developments that I did and managed, and these ones are in Wallingham in Surrey, if anyone knows that area. We have some more, again, some in Surrey, some in or Wallingham, sorry, and some in Sevenoaks in Kent, if anyone knows those areas. Some, again, nice projects that I worked on. Here's some mid-scale, so mid-spec as well. So these are slightly bigger projects that I've worked on in Ealing, West Drayton, Croydon and Wembley. And then getting up to the very high level, large scale projects that I've managed. This was a development in Wembley that had a number of large tower blocks that I was managing, so a larger scale project. My personal achievement with setting up my own company, Future Homes Design and Build, as I said, this is my company details. I'm very proud of setting up my own company, which is something that I always wanted to do, and I've just been working my way up through my career, getting lots of experience from the industry and other companies, to the point where I felt confident to set up my company and really go for it. People from both practical and academic backgrounds can have a great career in the construction industry. In the construction industry, people from a practical background especially can easily transfer these skills into many construction career paths. The common strengths and attributes of dyslexic, practical or similar educational understanding background individuals can be used in many ways in career paths, as these are requirements for many practical and practical thinking roles, such as skilled trades, such as bricklayers, tilers, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, plasterers, ground workers, painters, kitchen fitters, bathroom fitters, roofers, magic men, and many more specialist trades. You can also go into site management, project management, contracts management, or director levels, design, management roles, so architects or design managers. Also, some other examples: site engineers, building inspectors, surveyors, and many more. So the moral of the story: if you have a dream that you want to achieve, don't let others put you down. Don't let any physical or mental difficulties stop you. Don't let any disadvantages you have stop you. Don't give up on your dream. Every time someone knocks you down, pick yourself up and go again, stronger and harder, with the knowledge and experience the last experience gave you. And failure is not failure. It's a lesson to make you stronger and wiser. is some useful links to further information about apprenticeships, on how to join them, the steps to and processes to go through regarding apprenticeships. And that's it. So thank you for listening to me. I hope it was interesting and gave you an insight into a mixture of my personal story, struggling through school, but coming out the other end, choosing to go into an apprenticeship, and it was the best thing I could have done. And it shows that you, even through the apprenticeship, you can then follow on to as a senior management career in an academic world, if that's something you'd like to do. Over to you, James. Sorry.
No, thank you very much, Luke, and really interesting insight into your career pathway from going from your school to doing an apprenticeship to where you ended up as being a business owner. Yep. So it's a really diverse pathway you've had in actually your experiences and different opportunities you've had, getting your different working up to your different qualifications. So I had to think of that word there. So we've had a few questions come in, Luke.
Yeah.
And just to remind everyone who's watching, if you would like to ask Luke a question, please use the live Q&A chat and I'll get these answered on your behalf. So first question we got is, why was the apprenticeship scheme the best route for you?
Okay, so coming from a practical background, from a young age, I understood that I would enjoy a practical career and trade. So I decided to choose a construction trade because I knew that would complement my practical skills rather than my weaknesses in academic skills. But yeah, and also I didn't believe that I was able to go into a degree career path because I didn't think I was suitable for that, and I didn't have the right qualifications for that. But yeah, so an apprenticeship is great for practical people that come from more of a practical background, and also the ones that have not quite got the grades to do a university qualification, but they're quite likely the people that wouldn't want to do that qualification, or definitely not at that age when moving straight into out of school into a college or a university setting. So an apprenticeship is great for practical people. But saying that, as per my story, it doesn't mean that later on, if you do want to progress up the career ladder into a management role, by taking those steps into the apprenticeship route first and obtaining those qualifications, you can then either follow straight on into a management career with a degree pathway, or you can do it later on in life if you decide you've enjoyed being a tradesperson for 20 years and would like to progress into a management role later on in your career life.
Thank you, Luke. We've had another question from someone called Graham, and his question is, what is the gender balance in your area of the industry?
Okay, so I would say at the moment, definitely more down at a trades level. It's more dominated by males, but saying that, every year there is more and more females coming through the trades level, which is great. And I would say more in a management level. So this is not really talking about the apprenticeship level now, but as a follow-on, in construction management, there actually is quite a larger number of females working their way through the management roles. So yeah, I think every year it's becoming more and more diverse, with females coming up through the different trades, but it's not closed to just males, and females are made to feel very welcome now as well. So there's a very welcoming industry that everyone accepts everyone from any background. So yeah, I don't think there's any closed doors for anyone.
Thank you, Luke. The next question we've got is, when looking back at your apprenticeship, what did it do for you?
Okay, so it was a great step forward from school into a career in construction, as I was still a little bit lost when I left school. I wasn't sure fully what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something practical, and the apprenticeship scheme suited that very well. But it gave me a great learning opportunity, and also so site-based, on the job training, qualification progression into being a qualified tradesman that was ready to go on a building site and start earning a full wage of that tradesperson. So it was a great opportunity to come out of school and go on to something further with further qualifications and experience to progress me into the real world, in the construction world.
Thank you, Luke. That's all questions we've got for today, and thank you very much again, Luke, for taking time out to share your personal experience on the apprenticeship scheme and where it's actually led you to. Thank you everyone who attended today and for questions. In the meantime, we have got more live talks happening later in the week, and we've got lots of pre-recorded available on our website, where we'll send all the links out to your teachers to signpost you. But in the meantime, have a great week, and we'll hopefully see you at another live event soon. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.